What is going on, YouTube family? Welcome back to another episode of swing trading, day trading, technical analysis on the NAS100. I hope you guys have had an amazing week with your trades last week just gone, right? I hope things went really well, and that would have been for week commencing Monday the 15th of April, so that's week just gone, right? So with all of that covered, we've got a lot of exciting things to talk about this week, so make sure you stay through, watch every single part of this video up until the end, right? Because I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. And if you're looking at the screen as I've presented it to you now, I'm sure you can see all the gems that have been laid out over the weeks in regards to market trajectory, as well as all of the benefits that we would have gotten last week. So last week was an amazing week for me in regards to trading, and I'm going to explain how I got done what I got done. And the most important part is, if you was to go back and look through at least my last 3 full-length videos in regards to what I had to say about the NAS100, you would know that everything coming up to this event that took place last week, I mentioned them all as to it was about to take place. You had to be careful, you had to prepare yourself, and you had to look for key indicators so that at least you was facing in the right direction when market moved in the way that it did last week, which is where we got all of this move right here, right? So it's fair to say that I basically got it all from this level down here all the way down here, and I kind of played around here a little bit, so I took a little bit of a loss, but in the grand scheme of it, from here down to here, this was a solid win. All right, so I'm going to explain all of that to you, so with nothing more to say or to do, let's get straight into it. Okay, so last week I talked about some of the trades that I took, and one of the best ones that I took last week, so that would have been week commencing the 8th, that would have been the sell that I took from up here, and I managed to get it down here. Okay, and also at the same time in saying that, I also mentioned that we had to keep an eye on this level right here, which was 17884.8, right, as well as 18354.3, right? We had to keep an eye on those two levels, because if those levels were taken out, it would have meant the market is moving in the direction, and we had to be prepared. We had to prepare ourselves based on that, right? So last week, Monday evening, right, we had the weekly low taken out with a volatile candle, right? So this candle was super strong on its way down. So I already knew that it was gonna be flying downwards, because look at the strength of this candle. Okay, it blasted all the way through, and it wasn't stopping, it wasn't looking back, it was just going all the way down. So I already knew that I had to take a position. So what I did was I jumped onto the 15-minute, okay, because I wanted to make sure that under the 15-minute time frame, if I had to close under this level due to the strength of that, I could basically get it in at a discounted price, and I wouldn't have to wait for all of this. So I would always be sitting above these levels right here, which was something that I had to bear in mind, that there was a high probability that there would be consolidation. Okay, so I took that move. So I'm gonna put a little bubble on it. So I took that move about here somewhere, give or take, right? So I took that move about here somewhere, give or take. Bearing in mind, I was saying that there was a high probability the market was going to break down due to the consolidation at the top, right? Because these lines and these trend lines that I've drawn, I don't remove them, I keep them in the video, so you always know, you can always go back to double check if I'm telling you stories, or if I'm actually telling you what it is that I'm supposed to be telling you, right? So you can always go back and double check the videos. Everything is all there, nothing gets deleted, nothing gets edited, nothing gets changed. Everything stays there, even the comments. So long as it's not disrespectful, I'll keep the comments active. If the comments are productive and are of value, even not to myself, but just to pass it by, that may pass by the channel, I will leave the comments there, right? So when price blasted through this level right here, okay, right, I already knew I was in a comfortable spot. So then for the next 2 days, so which was the Tuesday and the Wednesday, price consolidated. It stayed in this zone right here, okay, which was another confirmation for myself to know that price was going to keep flying down. So what I basically did was, which was really simple, was I put another sell over here. So I had 2 sells active on this trade, right, 2 sells going. and I waited, and as soon as price kind of flew all the way down, okay, then I was kind of like, oh, what should I do? What should I do? Should I jump out or should I stay in it? Okay, so I kind of left it as it was, and then on the Thursday, price started to pull back. This is where I started to get a bit nervous because I didn't want to lose all of the gains that I'd made, right? So price was coming in, and I had a trailing stop in a really uncomfortable location, and in hindsight, I wish I had not had done that. Okay, so technically what I should have done was I should have brought my trailing stop around this level over here. Okay, and reason why I should have bought the trailing stop at that level is because there was an FVG sitting right here. Okay, and this is where I should have had it, but greed got in the way. So what I did was I had my trailing stop about here somewhere, right? About here somewhere, right? This is after price had gotten down to around this level. This is when I actually brought in the trailing stop. Price has got down to this level. It started to pull back up again. I got a bit, obviously I started to panic, and then I brought in a trailing stop, and I brought the trailing stop in about this level. Although the trailing stop was absolutely fine, it played with me for most of that day because I was worried that my trailing stop was going to get hit. And what freaked me out the most, believe it or not, was this candle over here. This all-encompassing bullish candle that pushed to the upside. I was saying to myself, you know what, if it comes to this level, I'm jumping out, I'm leaving. If it gets to this level, I'm gone, etc, etc. But all being well, obviously it stayed under that level and it continued to push down. So what I basically did was, right, I waited for this low here to be taken out. So this low right here, this liquidity zone, I waited for that to be taken out. And then as soon as that level got taken out over here, I then came in with another sell. So I stuck in another sell down here, right? So now all in all, I had 3 active sells. 2 of them had been completely secured in regards to a trailing stop. So that was fantastic. And one of them was just doing its thing. So I let that run. Obviously price came all the way down here. And then what I basically did was the trailing stop for this particular sell over here, I started playing around with it, right? Now, originally, I had the trailing stop for this sell right here, right? So it should have been taken out. And somewhere in the day on the Friday, I just said to myself, I don't know why I came up with this concept, because normally I would have kept everything there. So that was all trailing stops was at this level right here. Okay, so somewhere during the day, I just said to myself, you know what, let me think about what it is that I'm doing properly, and then let me just reassess if I need to really have my trading stop at this level, because no matter what, I'm going to be profitable, right? Even if I get closed out, even if I lose a trade on this one over here, I'm not going to lose anything. Like literally, I would have gained no matter what. It was a straight win for last week, right? So I said to myself, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my trailing stop for all trades, and including the stop loss for this one over here, I'm going to push them up here. Okay, so that is basically covering this FVG over here, right? So I know if price blasts past this level, it is turning around against me, and I would have made a huge gain from the trade I had up here and the trade I had over here. Okay, so the sell I had over here, as well as the minor hit that I would have taken in this location, because obviously I have a stop above the sell, right? So obviously price flew all the way up, then it was like the angels came down and then delivered an all-encompassing candle pushing downwards. So once I saw that, literally I was just so happy, mate. I was so happy, right? So literally what I did was I just waited for that one to close. Then I waited for the second one to close, and I just brought my trailing stop all the way down here. So that basically meant all 3 trades were all in the blue. Every single one of them was all in the blue, and I could just sit out and wait out the rest of the day. So as the day went on, this area was where I started to do silly things, right? So it was getting to the end of the day, and I brought all my trading stop down to this level, right? All of them down to this level. So this is when this candle had already formed and was about to close. And then I put in another sell at this location over here, right? No, sorry, I put in another sell on this bullish one over here, right? With all of my stops in this area. So what happened was this bullish candle over here, let me zoom in real quick. This bullish candle over here, this one, right, pushed up, took out all of my stops, and then flew back down again. And then I wanted to go back in again, but then I said to myself, you know what, it's been a big win this week, so let me just step away. and that's exactly what I did. So I stepped away from all of the trades that I'd done really well. I had 3 trades locked in, 3 trades profitable, all of them textbook, right? I followed my rules in regards to weekly lows and weekly highs, and I was rewarded handsomely for it, right? So it was a great turnout for last week. It was fantastic, and these are the type of traits that I want to continue moving forward and only improving and making better as I continue on this amazing journey of being a trader. And another thing as well that I want to add, right? This is by far one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, but it's also one of the best decisions that I've made in my life is to focus on understanding how market moves, etc., etc. So if you're thinking about doing this, I'm going to say it's not for everybody, but if you can stick with it, if you can take the good with the bad, right? I'm sure at some point you're going to start to become extremely profitable in your trades as well. So a word of encouragement from me, right? So now with all of that covered, we're going to get into the business of analysis for this week, which is going to be week commencing, let me get a date, week commencing the 22nd. So Monday the 22nd is when all of these analysis that I'm going to be doing, we need to keep an eye on how market actually behaves moving forward, right? So first things first, let's get rid of all of these lines on here, all of these trend lines, especially the ones we don't need. So it's not everything I'm going to delete off this chart. We're just going to delete some of the stuff we just don't need right now. So we're going to get rid of all of these things right here. And is there anything else we need to get rid of? Nope, that's about it, right? And then we just make this a little bit smaller. So moving forward, right? Moving forward, we have new levels we need to keep an eye on. Moving for next week, okay? And also as well, we also need to be mindful. That this downtrend might be going on for a little while, right? There is so much stuff going on in the world right now, so we just need to be mindful that this downtrend could be going on for a little while. So just be super careful in regards to how you navigate. But with all of that covered, we're going to get into it because we're going to follow the same rules that I've been following, okay? Because it hasn't let me down, and when it does let me down, it always gives me an opportunity to fix a mistake. So I really like this style of trading. I'm not going to lie, I absolutely do. Some people turn around and say, oh, it's gambling, oh, you're gambling. But I'm like, oh, really? So that's how we was able to get all of this, yeah? And that's how I was able to get all of that, yeah? Oh, okay, right. And tell me what you're doing again. Right, you know? So once again, this concept of weekly lows and weekly highs, it's not for everybody, right? It's not for everybody, okay? It does take a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not a simple plug and play system. But once you get your head around it, it's by far, in my personal opinion, it is one of the best indicators out there. The best indicators out there. And the thing is that you can apply it to whatever chart you are using, and it will always make sense, in my opinion. I haven't come across anything better than using this simple system of weekly lows and weekly highs to navigate the market. I haven't come across anything better than that so far. I'm not saying that this is the best thing that is out there, because I'm sure there's better, but in my opinion, this is the best thing that I've come across, and it's working very, very, very well. From the moment I started using this system, everything started to change, in my opinion. And that's just for me personally. Everything started to change, and you can go back and play this out on your own charts at home and just backtest weekly highs and weekly lows, and I promise you'll begin to see things in the chart, and you realize that this is one of the best ways to actually figure out what direction market actually intends to move in. And then once it confirms it, then everything else becomes plug and play. Identify the trend. Once you identify the trend, you then know that, okay, locations like this is where you might want to consider putting in sells, or sells if you're super lucky, or if it's going the other way, you might want to be putting in buys if you're super lucky. But I don't really like trying to time it on the top side, right? I mean, it's really cool when you do it, when you get it, but it's kind of tricky. I'd just rather wait for a confirmation. So it just takes out a little boom. I know I need to be down here somewhere. Same thing over here. It takes out a low. I know I need to be down here somewhere. Same thing over here. It takes out a low. I know I need to be down here somewhere. It's just straight easy once you are able to identify the trend. So first things first, identify a weekly low or weekly high gets taken out. You get that confirmation, boom. Second, identify, is there a trend or is it moving sideways? Oh, it's a trend. Fantastic. Okay, now let me get a confirmation of trend continuation. Where do I find that? It takes out the low of the consolidation. Soon as it takes out the low of that consolidation, you're in. That's it. You wait. It goes down again. It starts to pull back up. You mark out the area of consolidation, which okay, you know what? Let's just use all of this as an example, because this basically is a winning system that we have over here. So I'm going to get back into identifying the levels for the weekly lows and weekly highs, but we're just going to just use this as a little case study to figure out what's the best way of kind of figuring this out, right? So we have a weekly high over here, and then a new weekly high kind of emerges early in the week, right? So it's not really confirmed, but we can say, okay, cool, whatever, it's a weekly high, right? Or forget this part, we just say, okay, weekly high over here, weekly low over here. Weekly low has been confirmed to be taken out on the Monday. Okay, so what do we now do? So now what we now need to do is now we now need to identify, is this going to be a trending market, or is this going to be a sideways market? That's what we need to figure out next, because we know what direction is moving in, but we don't want to be in something that's going to be crazy and annoying. So first things first, we wait to see what happens. So price starts to consolidate at the bottom. Okay, so we get this move. I'm going to draw this again. So we get this move, right? This is what's happening. Boom. Price is consolidating at the bottom right now. So we know this is a consolidation, and we know the weekly low has been taken out. So although this structure normally pushes down, sometimes it goes up, but we're more confident on the side that it is going to push down just because this weekly low has been taken out. So we have a situation over here where we have a bit of clarity in terms of how we want to move forward. So it's really simple. What we then do is we know that it's closed below. We know that it's now consolidating, okay, right? So essentially, we can now look for a position within this zone or on top of this zone, right? Or if you want to be super secure, we can look for a position under the lowest low of that situation, which gives us absolute confirmation that it is going in the way that we expecting it to go. So this would be a safe trade. So if you was to put a trade down here, right? If you was to put a trade down here, that's a safe trade, right? And if you was to put a trade up here, anywhere in that zone, that's a risky trade, right? Because of where you've placed it. It gives the highest reward, but if it goes wrong, it's going to go wrong, right? So now that we've identified that we have a trend, right, we can now lock it in. So whenever it flies down, right, we mark out this area of the pullback. So this will be the area of pullback, area of concern right here, right? Let me make sure this is straight. Area of concern. So we've locked in, all right, let's just be super ambitious, right? We've locked in this trade. This top trade is the one that we've got, right? We've got in this one over here because we've identified that. We didn't do anything over here, okay? Yeah, we didn't do anything over here, so we've managed to get in this one over here. Price has come down, it's pushed up. All we now do is now wait to see what it's going to do. If it takes out this level, we're out. If it flies down, we know we're in. Then what we do is we put another position right under here. We put another position under here. We wait for it to fly down. Boom. It flies all the way down. Okay. It comes up. We mark out this area. As soon as it goes underneath that, we lock it in. We lock it in, and we'll just keep doing that. We'll just keep doing that. That's all we got to do is identify the trend once a weekly low or weekly high has been taken out. That's all we have to do. It's nothing complicated. So that's the vibe. That is the vibe. That is the vibe, right? So first things first, let's get back. I hope all of that made sense. If it didn't, just go back and watch, I don't know, 5 or 6 of my previous videos, and weekly highs and weekly low will start to make sense. Back test them on your own private charts, right? And then literally you start to see that it all starts to make sense, and then you just run with it, right? If you want to throw some indicators on top of it, yeah, why not? Go for it. Do you know what I mean? Anything that makes you better, I'm all for it. Anything that makes you a better trader, I'm all for it. And if there are gems that I don't know that I'm talking about, by all means, please share it with me, right? Let's just work together on this. Share that information with me, because I'm more than happy to. Obviously, I want to learn from you guys as well. I'm hoping that you guys are learning from me. And once again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just trying to show you how I like to move in the markets. That's it, right? I'm not telling you to go and do anything. I'm just telling you what is working for me, and I like to demonstrate how I got it to work for me, because most importantly, I must be able to explain how it is I did what I did to anybody and make them understand it, right? So with that covered, what is the levels that we're looking at for next week, commencing the 22nd of April? We're waiting for a weekly high to be taken out, or a weekly low to be taken out. On the high side, the numbers are 18199.2. That's this level right here. If that level gets taken out, we're facing that way, right? We just want to wait to see how strong that candle pushes through, because it could push through, it could go sideways, or we could push through and come back down again, right? Just because a weekly high has been taken out, it does not necessarily mean it's going to go in that direction. It just gives a very high probability that it will. It doesn't guarantee that it actually is going to happen. You have to be aware of that fact, all right? Other than that, the market's going to hurt you, and we don't want that, right? On the weekly low, we're looking at 16974.7. That's this level right here. If this level is taken out, then naturally we are looking for positions facing downwards, depending on how strong the candle blasts through the weekly low. In between this zone, right? So this is something that I don't normally talk about, but however, I'll be sharing that with you today, right? In between this zone, if you want to take a position, you absolutely can, but you have to follow the golden rules. What is one of the rules is that the swing high must be taken out to give you an idea the price is pushing up. Now, when price starts to push up, say for example next week, Monday, right? Price takes out this high over here, this swing high over here, okay, right? You can put in buys, right? And once again, not financial advice. This is just what I would be doing, right? I am not telling you to do this. This is what I will be doing, right? If this swing high is taken out, I would be looking for buys, right? I will be looking for buys, but I will not be bullish, right? Because the only way I'm going to be bullish in this market if this weekly high is taken out. Yeah, so long as this weekly high is not taken out, I'm just going to assume this is going to be a pullback. I'm not going to be super ambitious. I will not be stacking trades on top of trades. I will go in with one position just to see where market goes. If I get a weekly low taken out or a weekly high taken out, it looks like it's trending, then I'm more than comfortable to add in multiple positions, because I'm fairly confident the price is going to keep moving in a direction that I think is going to move in, right? So price takes out this level, boom. I then start looking for a position on the buy, one position, and I just see how high it goes. I will be thinking about hopping out once it gets to weekly high over here. I will not put a TP at this level just in case it blasts by, so I will just keep the whole trade itself open-ended. So it will be a trade with a stop loss, that's it. And the stop loss you'll be using as a trailing stop to lock in profits as we move higher and higher and higher and higher. And should we take this level out, then I then know that I can add in a little bit more and then ride it to the upside. That would be my style, right? So next week coming, these are the levels we want to keep an eye on: weekly high and the weekly low, right? And we want to make sure that we keep an eye as to how it is taken out, so that we know how's the best way of actually getting into the market. All right. And also as well, just to add, right, that I have backtesting videos, right? There's 21 of them that is mainly focuses on indicators. There are a few that I do without any indicators, but there was one or two that has indicators in there, right? So those ones are highly recommended, especially if trading weekly highs and weekly lows is going over your head. Make sure obviously you look at those to see if there's any gems in that you can use for yourself, and you will be seeing that video right at the end of this one. And with all of that covered, my awesome people from all around the world, I want to thank you for coming over to watch another episode of Swing Trading, Day Trading, Technical Analysis on the NAS100. I wish you nothing but the best for your trades for week commencing the 22nd. And I look forward to seeing all you amazing people next week, where we're going to be talking about how I navigated those trades, if some of the stuff I talked about happened, right? And as well as all the other new gems that I may have discovered that I may want to bring along to the table to share with you all. So with all of that covered, this is Pips and Points signing out.